Hello, once again, this is Brother Teacher. I attempted to do this video earlier and come to find out that I spent about 20 minutes recording this topic and my audio was turned off. Darn. But anyway, I'm going to take a stab at it, and it's going to be shorter than the first video. I'll try to be as explicit and concise as possible. And it's about a sex worker, a female sex worker, prostitute if you will, leaving her profession, deciding that she wants to better herself, her life, and move on and live a life of respect and dignity and get married. Is that possible? I say virtually anything is possible. This is me speaking, and none of us, for the most part, have a heaven or a hell to put anyone in. And I don't condemn anyone. I'm not in a position to condemn. But I can judge righteous judgment. The scripture says that. Judge righteous judgment. That means when you see something that's wrong, you can point it out as being wrong. If I see, for example, someone stealing something out of a store and not paying for it, I can say they stole something. That's righteous judgment. If I see a man beating a woman on the street who's helpless, battering this woman, if you will, assaulting, I can say that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. That's righteous judgment. Just those two examples. So you can judge righteous judgment, but the judgment that you don't have the privilege and or the right to judge a person by is to say or determine what their eternity is going to be in the next life. We can't say, well, because I said so, it is my strong opinion that you are going to heaven or you're going to hell because of this reason and that reason. I'm not in that position. Neither are you, nor anyone else. So as it relates to the woman that has been involved in sex work, she decides one day, I'm tired of this. For whatever her reasons are, I don't want to do this anymore. I made a mistake even. And I want to get on with my life and live out my life as wholesome and meaningful as long as I can. That is admirable. Herein lies the rub. Who would want this lady now if they knew what she did in her past, her former life? Would a man of quality, an upright man, a God-fearing man, a guy that has standards, principles, religious man, want a woman that used to be a prostitute? You know, the world is full of everyone and all types of people. You never know. I've heard people say over the years, there's someone out there for everyone. This may be true. We don't know how that situation could pan out for any particular woman who has lived that type of life. But again, you can't say that no one would want her. So it would be unfair to any prospective mate or man for her to keep it secret that she lived that type of life, because every relationship that you enter into should be an open relationship, nothing to hide, especially if it's something that could damage your partner and or your relationship down the road. You don't want to do that. You want to be perfectly honest. So maybe a man that does have high standards won't want a woman like that, and he wants you to be honest with him coming in a relationship. And if you told him that, some men might say, I accept you, sweetheart, the way you are, and not bring up your past any longer. He said, that's dead with me. It's over. It's you and me now, and move on from there. And then there might be another man who has such high standards that says, no, I can't do this. That's going to make me look bad. What if we run into somebody that knew you back in the day, that you did these things? So that's perplexing, or could be. Or maybe this woman would only want to connect with someone that she came up around and marry that person and live a life of respect, I should say, a respectful life with someone that she knew around the time that she did what she did. Maybe she's okay with that, and she just decided to relinquish that lifestyle. I'm going to say this. We're so quick to judge people, but we never look at ourselves. We say, oh, prostitution is wrong, but we never know how that person got into that situation in the first place. There could be a plethora of reasons why she could have been raped by her family members, father, uncle, brother, cousins, and that turned her into that field right there, if you will. She could have been raped by anyone else, a stranger, and it made her promiscuous in her behavior. And that could have turned her on to prostitution. Or she could have been homeless or thrown to the wolves, so to speak, coming up, didn't have a good family life, and she ended up on the streets, and that was the way she survived. Could have fallen between the cracks and had children, and that was her means of providing food and a place to stay for her children. And those are legitimate cases, not prostitution per se, but the reasons I'm saying for those women, because they said they couldn't find any other work, depending on where you are in the world as well, it makes a difference. But we don't know what everyone's circumstance and or situation was. But in the Bible, I remember this story. The law says that if you found someone in prostitution or committing adultery openly, you could stone that person with a rock. And when Jesus, Yeshua, in this particular instance, saw a group of men gather together because they found a woman that was caught in the act of prostitution and or adultery, they gathered up some stones, getting ready to stone this woman to death. And they told him that because they wanted to have some validation for what they were doing, even though they knew the law said that they could do it, but they had God's son right there. They knew who he was. We found her in the act. We caught her in the act. And he was sitting there writing on the ground. And he made a statement to them. He that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. All of them, upon hearing that, dropped their rocks, their stones. And they walked away in disgrace because they knew that they had sins as well. You just can't pick one sin or crime and penalize someone when you're guilty of other crimes and or sins yourself. Breaking the law is breaking the law. So when they went away, Jesus, Yeshua, said to that woman, ask her, woman, where are your accusers? They had walked away. He said, sin not any longer. He said, basically, I forgive you. Go and sin no more. He forgave her. Everybody needs a chance sometimes. You know that? We all need a chance and someone to have empathy and sympathy on us, because what if that was your wife? What if that was your daughter that was the prostitute? What if that was your mother or your sister that was a prostitute? What if it was you as a lady and you were the prostitute? Wouldn't you want someone to have mercy on you? Wouldn't you want someone to love you and care about you? Because we all have a mother. Every last one of us. So sometimes, while we're pointing the finger at somebody else, we need to think first and say, maybe I have some faults as well. I have to see clearly before I judge someone else, because I might be judged as well for my own sins and discretions. That was it. And that was all. Love everyone. Take care.